another beautiful day out here on planet Earth. And guess what? I'm going back into the polytunnel. So I am back in the polytunnel, but I've sort of learnt my lesson from last week in the fact that I've actually come down here quite nice and early just to try and beat the heat. Although having said that, it is still hot in here. Now, last week I was sorting out my cucumbers and my melons, and they are looking pretty happy, and I'm loving the fact that my melons are sort of in these fan shapes and they're just winding their way up the cables that I've just hung from the roof. Now, I have my tomatoes here, and I'll be honest with you, when I was planting them out, I just had to get them out in the ground, and I just literally threw them in, put some stakes in, and then I have left them, and of course they have gone absolutely wild. Now, one problem that I do have in this polytunnel, and this is really sort of a hangover from last year when this was a complete disaster zone, is bindweed. It is everywhere. So not only have my tomato plants gone absolutely crazy in terms of bushing out in their height, but also the bindweed is getting in there and is pulling them together. Now, this is a problem because I also have some little pepper plants underneath, and these are salad peppers underneath these tomato plants, and they're sort of getting overshadowed a little bit, even though I am getting some peppers on here, and I want to be able to protect those as well. So I am going to be removing some leaves. Now, I have fruit setting on these, so I am not going to go crazy. I'm just literally going to be removing any of those lower leaves which are sort of dipping into the ground. Now, the reason I need to do this is so that I can actually see the ground area, and when I'm watering in a polytunnel, you need to be watering from the base, not from the top, because the humidity in here, you're just asking for sort of diseases such as blight. So make sure you're watering from the bottom. So I'm going to just remove some of the lower ones, and really I'm looking for any branches which are just hanging down and just about touching the ground. Now, what I do want to do is actually avoid any which already have fruit on them, although it's not necessarily going to be completely easy to do that because they have actually gone quite wild. So this one, again, I'm just going to snap it off with my fingers, and I can see a humongous amount of bindweed around this poor little plant. Now, actually, it is sort of holding the tomato plant to the cane, but it is just going to be restricting it. And I say it's actually tying some of the tomato plants of different varieties together, and it's not good. And actually, if you leave it, it's just going to go even worse. Now, obviously with bindweed, you need to make sure that you are getting every bit of it, because just like couch grass, you leave any of it in the ground, it will root itself and it will come back even worse. So once I have sorted this jungle and just thinned it out a little bit, as I say, I'm not going to go mad on this one. I am then going to sort out the fanning on this. So that means hanging some more of this twine from the roof, so that all of the branches that are coming off of each of these plants can then be sort of tied up so that they're going to be controlled. Now, again, a reason why I'm not going to go crazy with these is, and you do see it as well, I have fruit on here. So I need all the leaves with a beautiful green chlorophyll to be capturing any of that sunlight for that good old photosynthesis. If I remove absolutely loads of my lower branches at this point in the year, I'm never actually going to get a good crop of tomatoes, because they are not going to be getting the energy that they need. There's some more of this bindweed, it's everywhere, and that means that it is going to impact on my harvest. So let me finish doing this, and then I'm going to get on with doing the twine from the ceiling, so I can control these beautiful monkeys. So I have actually managed to untangle all of my tomato plants in this bed. I still need to do that one as well. And what I can see is at the base, we've got sort of about 4 different forks or stalks coming off of each of these plants. Now, this just means that I'm actually going to be sort of doing the fanning of 4 on each of these plants. So I have actually tied up some of this twine to the ceiling, but I need to anchor it down, and I actually have these rather nifty cool little frames which I had around my peas, and these I bought from Agri Frames, and I think they're really cool. They look really rustic as well, and I'm just literally going to put this into the ground, just actually behind the pepper plants, because I want to try to give a bit of space to those pepper plants. So it's just going to go in the ground there, and where I've got these 4 twines, I'm actually just going to tie them up to this so that they are grounded and they're not going to come out. And obviously the tighter we can have these, the better it's going to be. You could have a bit of give in it, but the thing is, if you do, then you're just going to end up with floppy tomatoes. So here we go for another one as well. And then once I've got all these tied up, I am just then, let's get this one done. There we go. I'm just then going to get one of my tall branches from this tomato plant here, which has some beautiful flowers on it. Also still got that bindweed on it. Just absolutely crazy, it's everywhere. And I'm just going to, because it's at an angle, sort of lean it against it, get that bindweed off, and just sort of twist it around. Now I shouldn't really need at this point to actually tie them on, because they're really quite substantial branches already. So I can just again get the next one and just make sure that it is tied around that as well. So that is looking a lot clearer. I can see the ground now really clearly. I can see my poor little pepper plant under here as well, and that's going to really help these tomatoes. It's also going to help me with the harvest, because as they grow up this at that angle, in theory the tomatoes should quite literally, oh, lost another one, should quite literally just be dripping down off of these and their vines. So it's a big job, maybe something I should have done to start off with, but not all hope is lost, and there are ways of actually salvaging your mad jungle of tomatoes if, like me, you're in a bit of a rush to get them in the ground to start with.